Hey guys, welcome back to my show, Detailz with Dida Ritz. My show where I like to, the last show, where I'm going to be giving you just a little bit of the last tea about my experience on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 4. This is my elimination episode, and I thought I had to have somebody here who could bring some humor to the fact, because it's a little touchy talking about the elimination, and this was a hard episode for me, so it's great that I have Dixie Lynn Cartwright here.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, but because no one funny was available, you just settled for me.
That too. There was a lot that went on behind the scenes. I guess you would say politics, no pun intended, that went on behind the scenes.
I see what you did there.
I'm a good guy. I have a lot to say about this episode, I do. So.
Well, you even said when you were leaving, you said, like, I'm going to leave here with a much thicker skin, but that was before, that was just from, like, the experience. That was before you got the social media experience.
Yes.
You got the fans involved.
Yes.
Did you have any idea what was headed your way?
I did, because I had watched kind of like how, whenever the girls would come to town, I would just see how the fans would react to them. And I'll never forget, there was one time I was at Spin. This guy went over, took a picture of Juju, and then minutes later, he came up and said something to me, and I wasn't a Drag Race girl at the time, and he just was reading Juju for Phil. It wasn't on my mind quite yet to audition yet. It was still kind of like something I was thinking about, but it was definitely I put that on had a pros and cons list.
You got it at the beginning, because like I feel like Drag Race has now, let me see if this is gonna turn up, hang on. Oh yeah, I had it down low. There we go.
The lighting is important.
Now we could see each other. Oh yeah, this is a good time to mention that. So, Detailz with Dida Ritz this first season has been wonderful. However, it has been wrought with its challenges. The equipment failures, the editing failures. It was a learning curve.
Not my fault.
So I just want to publicly apologize if some of them were difficult to see, hear, or just, watch. Just know, moving forward, you didn't pay for this, so why are you complaining? God, we got some new equipment.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
2020.
We're making it work. Especially with the last video, I felt so bad. So I'm so sorry.
I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. It's okay. Like you said, this is, we're all a team. We're all learning together.
Yeah, just pretend. This was just like any other season 1 of Drag Race. This was season 1 of Detailz.
Yeah,
it was about as good as season 1 of Drag Race.
The only way we can go is up now, ladies and gentlemen.
But with Drag Race, you didn't. Like you said, people come up to y'all because you're on TV. They feel like they have a right. I mean, hell, IMHO, it's all based on us giving opinions about them. And I think because Drag Race has made drag just so accessible, it happens to all of us now.
Yeah.
Even like us nobodies that aren't on TV. Like, people will come up and just be like, I don't understand your contour. I don't understand this or that. And I'm like...
Yeah, you tell me about it all the time, about how you deal with, in the comments here at IMHO, the channel, and on other major forums. You tell me that you deal with that, and they say things, or they, like when we first did Detailz, how people were coming down hard on you, you said.
Girl, somebody took a screenshot, and I'll be honest, that first Detailz, we were just trying to figure out what it was.
We were just hanging from our tuck in these
Girl, so I know that I looked insane, but somebody took a screenshot of me from that episode, created a Facebook thread about it, about how my makeup was just objectively awful, and just going down the line. And it would have been fine, but one of our dear viewers, I know your heart was in the right place, but they sent me the link to it, just for future reference. And Dida, I don't want to speak for you, but if someone's saying something awful about us online, you don't have to, add us.
I don't need to
Don't add us. There's enough awful going on up here. We don't need to see that. But yeah, I just got a little taste.
Yeah, could you imagine? Could you imagine? So
I'll fail the psych test. Because
No.
I'll be like, how do you deal with criticism? And I'll be like,
oh no, they don't like me. I needed that because Drag Race was my first ever drag competition ever doing. I didn't do pageants. I come from... Yeah, no, I never did pageants. And I come from a pageantry background. Obviously, I grew up in Chicago. Taj Mahal, who was my drag mother and still is my drag mother. She was a former Continental Plus and a former Gay Youth at Large. And I grew up in the game watching her be such a, perfectionist and, professional.
Yeah.
So... I never really had to deal with cattiness and that whole petty kind of competition because she was there to always protect me from that.
And then you had to deal with it.
And then I jumped right into Drag Race, and I just did not. I was not prepared for that. I think I was prepared for all the challenges. I was prepared if you asked me to sew and do anything, but I'm not looking to the side, seeing if everybody else stays in their lane. I'm in my lane. I'm driving my car to the finish line.
This was the episode, and it was coming right off of Willem's elimination.
Mm-hmm.
This was the episode where, in the mini challenge, on the runway, during the actual challenge, like the main challenge, you just seemed kind of like...
I shut off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You shut down hard.
Because that's how it's either because I had seen the politics already starting.
Did you
within
knowing that they were gunning to send you home?
Yeah.
Did you know the writing was on the wall?
Oh, I knew the writing was on the wall. Yeah. I had said earlier kind of in some things about how politics and religion is something I don't really discuss in my drag. And I know you had said this earlier, it's not an excuse, but it was the time we were in at the time. You did not talk about politics or religion. Yeah. And if you did, as a drag queen, you were truly brave to do it because it could choose whether you have a job. Yeah, you destroy your career. You would possibly not have a job. There have been infamous known drag queens who went on stage and ripped up Bibles, and you don't hear about them now. Yeah. Nowadays, if you go up on stage and rip up a Bible, it goes viral. I was really worried. I felt kind of like Jiggly felt when she did the Dragazine challenge, and it was a question of, do I go serious? Do I go joking about this? Do I talk about all the things that as a black person I really feel the government is doing? Or do I talk about, do I go humorous about,
They didn't make it clear. I didn't know what they wanted, and it seemed like at first I was like, oh yeah, it's like a political thing. You're running for drag president. Let's make it a joke. And then everyone was worried about Chad, making it too much of a joke. And then Dan came in and was like, you need to be more serious. I'm not going to vote for you about wigs. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, I love what you're doing, Chad. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Right. So it was almost like, and almost it was like the moment I asked myself, so Dan, do you want me to be twerking my neck and saying, and doing all of the things that Chad was doing, the electric slide and, dancing in a Running Man? Is that what you wanted me to do?
Oh, God. I do have a question about, they announced the challenge, the candidacy. Mm-hmm. And you all were dressed the part in the way that you decided your character would be dressed. So, I know that you get the runways ahead of time because you have to bring the looks. Mm-hmm. But, did they tell you the challenges ahead of time? Or they say this is going to be a runway of politics? And then they're like, oh, psych, it's the challenge. So why did you know to bring that?
The way they do it is they send you a list of ideas and concepts, and sometimes they make, on mine, they did say runway looks, but then some of the runway looks were used in challenges.
Got it.
So, for instance, if you take it back to our sitcom challenge, the looks that we wore for one of the sitcom challenges was bedroom lingerie. I thought those were going to be runways, but really what they were is they were used for that. So what they would tell us is they would say, okay, time to wear your bedroom look, ladies, and then you would wear the bedroom look.
Okay. Can we just get into the debate?
Yeah, get into it. This is why I wanted to have you on here, Dixie, because I wanted you to ask me the question, because I don't really know. I gotta be honest, you guys, I didn't really know how to start this episode off, and I really didn't,
This one's different. Different. It's, you said...
I feel it's about me because I was eliminated. I was the girl who went home, so you have to talk about...
You mentioned it, when you said, this is gonna be difficult for me, and I honestly was difficult? I mean, it was years ago. What are you talking about? And then I watched this episode, and it was...
it's hard to watch.
Let's dive into that.
Yes.
All right, so the debate. We had Sharon Needles. I adored. I thought it was so smart. She took the serious that they wanted and then included in the funny. Her characterization, when she said, I believe gay or drag queens should get married because I want to get divorced and I want to collect a check and spend that on my young lovers and go on vacation. I thought she killed it. Mm-hmm. And for those young watchers out there, this was Sarah Palin time.
Oh yeah, that's exactly who she was poking fun at.
So Fifi was like, I'm going to be Sarah Palin. And it looks like she just decided, I'm going to be a more overtly racist Sarah Palin. Mm-hmm. She go ahead.
So you're referring to the help comment, I take it.
Yes. Do you want to set that up?
Oh yeah. So there was basically, we were being asked questions, and Fifi's reply back was basically, it's good that we have the help here. We can help the help. Okay, so my whole entire thing on this, okay?
That was specifically just you and Latrice.
Specifically to me and Latrice, okay? Fifi and I, at that time, had, a really great friendship. There were a lot of things that we both said to each other that I would never say on camera because that's just the nature of our relationship.
That's how you are.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Your girlfriends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like that with your girlfriends, but we would never sit here with this camera on and say some of the stuff that we have said without the camera, right?
I don't know what she's talking about.
Girl.
Everything you see
And
is what
so
you get.
I really feel like that was a really dumb, kind of stupid choice on Fifi's part. And I even said that on the runway because I think that they all kind of got down on her, and I had to defend her as a friend because, like I said, you
that
have that.
You would joke about.
Yeah, that was something we just joke. When you're with your friends, you go there sometimes with your close friends, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it in front of people who I know don't know how we are.
Well, and that's the whole thing too. I think that's like a very similar thing of like people say, well, I'm gay, I'm Jewish, I'm black, and I wasn't offended by that. Mm-hmm. So, but that may just be the relationship you have with your own identity and how you represent yourself with your friends. It doesn't make it acceptable on a large platform.
Exactly.
Just because you're not offended doesn't mean someone else won't.
And that was what I had said to her. I said, because she had asked me, she said, were you offended? I said, I wasn't offended, girl, because that's how we talk to each other. But I would have never said that with 12 cameras staring at me.
Well, it's a choice she made, and what she said, I mean, outside of some private thing that you have maybe decided is okay between the two of you, is fucked up. What she said was fucked up.
No, absolutely.
And if Fifi had said that today, she would have been kicked off the show immediately. There wouldn't have even been a lip sync. It would have been like, fuck you. Mm-hmm. When you were in the middle of the debate, because everyone except you and Latrice had characters, you really just went in, I'm Dida Ritz, change for Dida.
Change for the Ritz.
Change for the Ritz. How could I forget? Just roll.
And Dan Savage was like, why not Ritz for the... She said something stupid. And I said, because I want the people to change for me. Hello. I'm like, it's about me. Oh, change for the Ritz. Like, change your decision.
Now that's the Dida. I would have loved to see that Dida.
But see, the thing is,
I saw the
and we're gonna say this real quickly. Our job is always to make light of stuff, So don't come into a drag competition telling queens that they need to be more serious or be more on their politics. We're supposed to be having fun about this. I mean, for goodness sake, RuPaul says herstory instead of history. And I just knew the minute I saw him, I was like, ooh. And I even feel my blood boiling talking about him right now. I just, ooh, girl.
You just dropped a bombshell on me. Are you saying that herstory is not a real word?
No, actually, the funny story about herstory. You know how RuPaul got herstory?
No.
So apparently his mother used to always say it, and just to be funny, like herstory lesson, like just your herstory, know your herstory. And so Ru says it now. Just that's what I've heard.
And then it kind of morphed into her story. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, RuPaul fact.
We're learning herstory.
RuPaul fact, herstory. Dan Savage is I'm scared if I say this. It's going to be a controversial episode. I can already tell.
Say it. These are the experiences that we have had, and we're sharing our experience. And this entire show is about your experience and through your lens. So whatever you say, you're not calling anyone out saying that they're a terrible person unless they're Fifi.
Well, the reason why I just don't think that when I look at certain queer figures, that's something I will say that maybe is different from then now. You see more like an inclusive and like a rainbow of people who are political figures now.
Which is the goal, yeah.
And and I just felt like back then that also was like hard for me to listen to a man who I know has not lived my struggle at all. At all. So, and the streets talk, Dan Savage, you go to bars just like any other gay person, and I've heard how he treats people. So it was just kind of like being in the same space with him at that moment. It was kind of like, okay, I already know how you see me, and I already see your judgment, and I'm good. I'm.
So a moment of light, I actually laughed out loud. Was from you. They asked you if drag queens could get married, and you said yes. I mean, drag queens can marry whoever they want. They can marry other drag queens. They can marry dogs. I just need to put this on the record.
Yes.
Dida Ritz, do you believe that drag queens should be allowed to marry dogs?
I mean, I have a lot of drag queen friends, and some of them are actually married to dogs, so I can believe it.
Another good moment. Untucked was very much about you.
Yeah.
And tell us about the big special moment in Untucked.
When I got a video message from my mom and my dad. And
well, we got it from your mom. We got your
my dad was there. And there's actually a reason behind that. I actually want to talk about that because that's been a big thing too.
Let's do it.
Well, literally, I've been stressing out, already knowing what's going on, just ready for the lip sync. Like, I'm just ready for the day to be over with at this point. Like, I'm over it. We get a message, and I wasn't in the mood, obviously. And then they flash across the screen, and the picture they showed was so there was this like photo booth thing at this mall in my hometown where you could take a picture in the photo booth and then it draws it. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah.
Okay, so the picture that they showed, my mom showed, was the pictures we had at that photo booth that she actually has like framed and everything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my god, that's that picture. Like what? And I didn't get. You give production like pictures and things like that.
Right.
So I didn't give them that picture. So when I realized I saw that, I was like, oh my god, that's my parents. Like, oh god, here we go. And the first thing I told myself is I am too annoyed already with everything that's going on, so I'm not giving them tears. Like, I remember telling myself that I was like, I'm not crying for you guys.
Did they really not know that you were at Drag Race?
They had like an inkling of it. I had brought it up to my mother and said, I'm thinking about auditioning, because I had told my mom, like, I told my mom I did drag, and then I remember it was Father's Day like years ago. And then I had said, I'm thinking about going to do Drag Race. I said, all the contestants who come and I work with, they all have like kind of said like, do the show, audition, you would be perfect for it. And I don't think she believed me. And then I went and filmed it, and it was interesting. A really good friend of mine, because you know word trickles, you know how it is when the girls start missing, you know. And back then it wasn't as like, you could still kind of slip out. Right. And nobody would notice you were gone.
Well, there wasn't Reddit. There wasn't like all the
none
like
of that.
The sleuths.
All that started during my season. I went to LA and I was filming, and my friend went over to, and at that time I really wasn't I wasn't really talking to my parents a lot, you know, because I come from a really strong religious background.
Girl,
you know, my dad's a pastor, and my dad's like very big within like the whole pastor world. He knows a lot of like, you know, big time famous pastor people. So I knew that this wasn't going to be good. My friend went over and talked to my parents, and he kind of just like, you know, let them know like, you know, this is going to be a big thing for, you know, him, and that he's going to need his family behind him to protect him. Like, you know, people are ruthless out here, you know, to people who get attention, and you know, he needs to know that at least his mom and dad are behind him. And then literally that happened. My mother made that video like right as soon, because she said that they were reaching out to her, but she was kind of like not sure what was still going on. And then my mom actually thought I was filming in Chicago. Like, she just thought, like, my mom didn't understand how reality TV works, how when you film competition shows, you have to go, you're locked away, they take away your phone. She didn't want people to think like you was just out here without nobody. She was like, we don't understand it, we didn't get it, but that doesn't mean we don't want to not understand it or get it. Right. You know, we don't want people to just think we just let you be out here all free and they can mess with you. You know, because my parents are pretty protective of me. So honestly, that was the highlight of the episode to me. That was like the real highlight. You came
to life. It was the only time I actually saw you, besides the lip sync, but we expect that from you. Yeah. It was the only time we actually saw you come to life. You had the biggest smile on your face. When it was over, you said, like, I got what I wanted. I don't care about anything else. Like,
well, because acceptance is really important from your family, your mom, or whoever raised you, you know? Like, some people don't have their mom or dad to raise them. They're raised by their grandparents, or they're raised by their sisters. But it's, like, super important for the person who's your guardian, has raised you, to have acceptance by them. And my parents are super, like, very down-to-earth people. They're the type of people that will go to church and will, you know, preach like all, you know, preach love and whatever, and be religious, but they don't have anything against people who are gay, or, you know what I mean? I was just happy that they like understand, you know, and now the relationship is still good. It still is hard sometimes, because you know how the traveling and the working, and you know, I don't get to see them that much, and so sometimes that gets hard, because.
Are you close to your dad at all? You're obviously close to your mom.
So yeah, when I was younger, me and my dad used to fight and argue a lot for no reason. I think it was just a clash of strong personalities. It wasn't until like recently, actually, my dad went through a bit of like a few health scares, and when he went through these health scares, it like changed his like personality a little bit. So it softened him, if you ask me. And so now he's extremely like, you know, I talk to my mom and she's like, your dad wants to talk to you, or, you know, he's want to make sure you're doing good, or, you know, his thing is always, are you paying your taxes, or, you know, like things like that. So it's definitely getting better, but it wasn't bad. It was just non-existent.
Right.
It gets better and better day by day.
Good. I don't talk to my dad, but I'm just waiting for, the Lord to finally take him home, and then I'll reconnect from beyond the grave.
Oh yeah, I know some people who have relationships like that with their
Yeah,
parents.
I think like once. I think we'll get along a lot better once. The only way we can talk is through a Ouija board.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
This is the year. All right, so let's do the runways.
Alrighty. Any other questions? I love all the questions.
I feel like it's all coming out organically.
It is.
I had all the
sure.
questions when I was watching it. God, this is an episode.
This is gonna be I feel like I might start crying when I watch this episode.
Well, I saw when you brought up your mom, you got a little tear.
I did, because I really do. I love my parents. Sweet. I love my mom, and that is really the main reason, like, gonna have a real moment.
Yeah.
So like I watch a lot of the Drag Race girls. I see them out there working and like traveling the world and making all this money. I've heard some of them say like, like I'll talk to Aja, she was talking about how she wants to get her mom a house. I've talked to some other girls before and they've gone like, I just want my mom to be okay. Eureka said it before, like they just want their moms to be, and their parents to be okay. That is the only reason I sometimes bend over backwards to work really hard, is because I just want to be able to buy my parents something to like thank them. Because I didn't have a hard childhood. Like my childhood was hard in school because I had to deal with that shit you have to deal with in school, being young and gay and not knowing or whatever. But like...
Wait, you're gay?
Yeah, aren't you?
Get out of my house.
Sometimes when I like see the other girls out here doing their things, it gives me drive, because I'm like, if they can get it, I know I can get it. You know what I mean? Like, if they can...
Yeah.
Get on this and do that and whatever and da-da-da, then I know I can. Because I just want to be able to give my parents the world. That's the big thing.
That's why you're wearing the sweet on your hair. Because you're showing your sweet side.
Yeah, I really
am. Vulnerable.
Okay, so first up we have Chad Michaels.
Ooh.
Chad Michaels is giving us very Nancy Reagan vibes. That's what I thought when I saw it. Mm-hmm. It's Nancy Reagan. It's emerald green, which I love emerald green. It reminds me of money.
It's very Christmassy.
The blouse part.
Yeah.
It's a leotard.
Oh.
It's like, so nothing rides up. Which was like, these were moments where I loved being with Chad, because I was able to like see those little tricks of like costuming and wardrobing. Because I move around a lot on stage, so sometimes
about it.
Yeah, and I hate whenever I'm on stage and I have to like pull a skirt down, tuck something, like that annoys me. I like to just be able to put it on and it just stays.
I loved how soft she looked.
She looked like a politician's wife.
Yeah, I'd wear that today.
She is so elegant, it's so expensive, and honestly, oh God, I don't know how you put this, but like, Chad is a particular age, but I think Chad does that age at he does it very well. Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't look like, some queens we know who are a particular age and they look like it and they dress like it.
It's always time for a cocktail. No.
Oh, I love you, Miss Davis.
No, I love her.
Honey, she's in her penthouse.
I just couldn't think of one. I was like,
that was good though. That threw me. That was more funny than who is Alexis Michelle?
Is Alexis Michelle. Oh, she was on Drag Race.
Oh, okay. So sorry, girls.
So,
but I love this.
4 stars.
Absolutely 4 stars. I'll even give her 5 stars.
5. Ooh.
Okay, so next up is me.
I loved it.
Okay, so let me tell you this. I loved it because it was simple. I made it. Okay. And I also loved because they sat there, and you were talking about this moment on Untucked.
Yeah.
They were coming at my neck, telling me that this is not how you dress at an inaugural ball. This is not like, who would wear, once again, this is supposed to be a drag competition. And we talking about inaugural balls and stuff. And you got the girl down the line from me, we'll get to her soon, who was wearing a sheer a condom. Come on now, okay?
Yeah.
So, but the one thing I love the most about this look, like a week or two later, Sierra wore this same silhouette to a political event. Call her what you want, but honey, Sierra did go to a political event in a black gown situation, blonde hair out, big old blonde wig like mine, and everything. The only difference was, I'm sure that her black dress was hella expensive and her hair was definitely human, because that was not a human wig I had on my head at the time.
No. So that's my one critique. I thought you looked incredible, and I loved the black through the blonde. I thought that was so smart. But not the nicest wig in the world.
Yeah, I mean, you can start a fire with it.
It looks like this. Let's be honest. This is basically what you wore.
Yeah, we had to turn the lights down because I was catching on fire. You know that tool.
I did get too close to
the
that light.
Singe me on the tool, girl.
But the overall effect of it was very, very cool. It's one of those, even before I knew you, it was one of the things that, like, when I thought of Dida Ritz, like, it was one of the looks that immediately came to mind.
It's one of my runways that people know.
That's a good way to go.
I mean, right?
I mean, that's a good runway to end it on.
Elegance, darling.
Yeah,
and
loved
opulence.
it. Loved
opulence. Next up, we have Latrice Royale.
Girl, what was up with those stones?
Yeah, no.
Big, like, craft stones, and they're on this weird
Oh, see, okay. Lord have mercy. We're being honest. I know that I at least look, and oh my God. I'm not trying to say like Latrice, like, you know, look bad, but I knew I looked, I felt I looked better than her at that moment.
You have spent the entire season praising Latrice.
I have, because I do love her. But I feel like I have to watch it because these motherfuckers will write in the comment below.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you hating on Latrice, you bald-headed, dry, ashy wig bitch. I'm not hating, I'm just saying. I feel like I look more like I'm going to an inaugural event than she is.
Yeah, and I think the judges were pretty vocal about their distaste for her look that night, too.
Yeah. Next up, we have Fifi O'Hara.
It's cute.
I didn't like the hair.
No. Or the makeup. But it's just like a wedding dress. Pretty.
Next up, we have Sharon Needles.
Oh, I love this. This is high Sharon Needles drag.
Loved it, but once again, if we're talking about are you wearing this to the inaugural ball, because this is what the argument I got. In today's world, could you wear this to a...
she said not in today.
Even Lady Gaga herself.
Well, she's stopped being crazy. Now she's trying to fuck Bradley Cooper, so she just wears pants.
Is that really true?
I don't know. I think the thing that saved her was that she framed it in... We're not going to have a drag president for 100 years, so I'm going to the inauguration in 100 years. Did they give her a little bit of a pass as compared to, well, you? Yeah. But she framed it. She had a little excuse. Had she not said that, I don't know what would have happened.
True.
But the look, though.
Oh, no, the look is fierce. I love the look. I love the look, and I also love it's the promo. The makeup and the hair is the promo.
It is.
And I loved the promo because when the day we shot the promo, which now they do it differently, that they make the girls shoot the promo after the season's done. But when we shot the promo, we shot episode 1, and then before the first girl went home, I remember we had to like shoot the commercial.
Oh, really?
That's how they did it.
Oh, wow.
And so I remember Sharon said she woke up, we had to be up early, like 7 or 8 o'clock to film. And I remember she said, I either made one or two choices. I was going to go all out and do this one makeup, or I was just going to black them out and like, you know, freak them out, whatever.
Yeah.
And she did this. I love it. I actually liked this hair though more. I noticed it was like teased and coiffed more when I saw it compared to this runway than the commercial. So
I love it. It's just so Sharon.
It is. It's very Sharon. It's very, very Sharon. Very Sharon. And
did we do them all? RuPaul. She had on that Rainbow Bright.
She did have on that Rainbow Bright. I did like that. I do remember that. It was like pink and it had her hair looked like butter.
Yeah.
Like it was very orange, like yellowy like butter. I love that. Whenever I see that look, period, in anything she does, I know exactly what went on that day.
Oh, it's peak RuPaul too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they used it before whenever she's like been on a talk show and she talks about her dresses or in drag, they'll use that picture sometimes. And I literally I'll be watching TV and I'll go, because I just know exactly what it's like.
Oh, so that dress triggers you.
That dress triggers me. The French roll look.
Well, y'all, you know what? Send the dress back to Rue. She doesn't want it.
I don't want it. Thanks, Rue. And if you gonna send me a dress, Rue, honey, that's not the dress I want. I got a few other ones in your collection I want, honey.
Oh, were you kidding?
There's a few I really want.
And then there's a few that I really don't. So you do the lip sync against Latrice.
Yes.
And obviously you knew it was for Latrice. But you worked it out. Was it hard to lip sync against Latrice?
In this industry, you know girls who are like seasoned in the industry, like they've worked in the industry, they know how it, like they just know. And I just knew like lip syncing against Latrice, it was gonna be I'm honored to be able to say I did it because there's been some lip syncs I've seen in the past that's like, neither of you are, like, I could mop the floor with both of you.
Right.
But there's some lip syncs I've seen in the past where I'm like, oh, she looks like she be, like I've always said Kennedy Davenport, I'd be terrified to lip sync against her because she is a true entertainer and performer. But then there's some other people I've seen, I'm like, I'm not really worried about you, like, you know, and so
there's always time for a lip sync.
Okay. With Latrice, I was worried. I was like, oh God, I was like, they really like her. Like, you know, I could already, it hadn't even been out on television, but being there and filming, I was like, everyone's gonna like her. Like,
yeah, she's gonna
I'm not, there's no way I can survive this. So, bye.
So you just had fun with that. You did say that, like, you felt like you were performing for
a lot of people, yeah. It's the one time you see the crew and the, like all the people walking back and forth, you know, and behind, you know, like past the cameras. You see them like walking by, but as the lip sync starts, everyone on World of Wonder just crowds around. And you hear the people clapping in the back at the end of every lip sync. It's all the staff and the crew and like everyone is so excited to see the lip sync, you know, because that's what
sweet.
We do. So like they want to see, what you gonna bring, you know? And now it's become like gimmicks, you know, death drops every 5 seconds and splits, and which is not something we did. You know, if you did a split during the lip sync, it was a unique new thing. Now it's.
One of my favorite lip syncs is I love a good lip sync that is based on just the performance and no gimmick. And it's one that doesn't often get talked about, but Jinx Monsoon, remember when she had like the
and Detox?
And she did the wow.
That's a good one.
It's a good example of like
what a real
you don't need I don't want to say that they're not good performers. Obviously it takes skill to do tricks, but Latrice's performance of this song, because it was again like her song, it was just like she said about you and This Will Be, like it was high drag. It was just her, just the song. She didn't rip her wig off. So walk us through. You're doing your final interview. Take us through that. And on your way home. Did you leave that night?
No, I left the next day. So you have to do like your interview. You have to write all the stuff on the mirror. I don't remember what I wrote on the mirror. I did remember asking them if I could leave cheesecake for the girls. I'd asked the producers, I said, is there a way I can leave cheesecake for them? And they said, we'll do that for you. And I didn't think they really did it until I had like the first phone conversation with like Sharon and Latrice, and they were like, we got your cheesecake, we love you, like that. I was like, oh, they really did it? Okay. I write all the stuff on the mirror, and then I just packed up. And it was really interesting because I remember it was a Friday, and one of the things that came to my mind was I was like, oh my God, when I get back home, it's gonna be Saturday. I wanna go out and drink. Like I just wanted to like, you know, just let loose because I had been so like constrained, and they really control your life and like that whole entire time you're there.
When do you get your phone back?
The night you get eliminated, then they take you back to the hotel. They give you like the Ziploc bag with all your stuff. Like I had my iPad and my phone and everything.
Oh, nice.
And then of course you check your phone and there's all these messages. One of the first people I saw who messaged me was our good friend Saya.
Oh, what'd she say?
And she said, I know where you're at. And then she told me some other stuff that was going on, other drama. But she was like, I know where you're at. And, you know, like, you know, good luck, sis. The Facebook comments were hilarious, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Because you just disappeared.
Well, I told people I went home to Michigan. That was my excuse.
Well, you needed time for yourself.
Yeah, you know, why not?
Simply Michigan. Pure Michigan, sorry. Obviously, I'm not on the board of tourism there.
I think Drag Race is like the best, like, I always say it's like Dida's childhood videos, like home videos.
Yeah.
Because
it's like watching a recital.
Yeah. I think it really does, like, look at me then and now, like, you know. And I think that's something I still battle a lot with, is I think people still associate and take that narrative on the show and they take that with them. I need people to understand, like, I've grown, like, and that's all I ever want people to know about me. I don't care about followers or fame or how much money I have in the bank. I just want you guys to know I've grown. Like, that's all I care about, you know.
You really have. So now that season 4, now that we've wrapped that up for Detailz, is Detailz dead?
Detailz is not dead.
What?
Yes.
Huh?
So I'm super excited to announce that there are a few things that we have in plans. We're not going to tell everything. But the first thing that we have talked about and what we're going to continue doing with Detailz is we're going to do like a pop culture roundup.
For those of you who only know Dida from Drag Race, you're just kind of now getting to know her through this show. She is very plugged into pop culture. We share a Real Housewives obsession.
Love it.
And it just seems like every time I see you, you're like, did you see this just happened? And I'm like, no, how did you know that already? You keep up.
That's like one of my goals I would love to do is I would love to host a Love and Hip Hop reunion.
Yeah.
Or I would love to be on the red carpet interviewing celebrities. Kind of like what we did at DragCon when we went around and I was able to talk to some of the other drag race girls. I think it's time that we start, talking about what's going on around us. So we're going to be doing a show, still going to be Detailz with Dida Ritz. If there are topics that you guys want us to talk about, please feel free to write down in the comments. Believe it or not, as much as we say we don't read the comments,
well, I definitely want to get you out into the field more because of that. If you haven't seen yet, we were at DragCon LA, New York. Wait, where were we? She went around, was a correspondent, and it was so fun to see you out and about in the field.
I loved it.
So I'm going to send you out and make you do more stuff like that.
I just want to say thank you so much for watching Detailz with Dida Ritz, and thank you so much for listening to my side. I'm excited for more stuff to come. Thank you to all my guests who were here, Jasmine Masters and the Vixen and Monica Beverly Hills and Lucy Stool and T-Rex. And you and Alexis and Chan. Make sure you guys like and subscribe here to IMHO. You can follow me at Dida Swag on Instagram, Dixie Lynn Cartwright.
Yeah, do what you
_dick pig, I believe, or something like that.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Do you want to say Detailz with Dida Ritz one more time so we can do the logo? You love that.
Detailz with Dida Ritz.
That was good.
What show are we on?
I think it's
Detailz with Dida Ritz. What show are we on again?
I'm not saying that. Bye.